What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to share something personal with you that I normally wouldn't. For those of you that watch my videos regularly, a couple days ago, I was reading one of my prison letters in that new series that I'm doing, and it was a letter from a good friend of mine, and it mentioned another good friend of mine, of ours. And as a result of being reminded of that person, I reached out to him and tried to get in touch with him, and I found out that he was dead. So he's actually been dead for some time now, and I was unaware. He and I met each other in county jail and became very good friends. And years after, I went to prison, he went to prison. We reunited in the free world and saw each other, actually like 3 times. The last time I saw him was 4 years ago. The reason I feel very guilty about this is because in those meetings after jail, we spoke of things, openly, as we always did. And he told me he wanted to change. He wanted this shit to stop. This life that he's been living and this recidivism and in and out of fucking jail, he wanted it to end. He didn't want to do that shit anymore. And I had the opportunity and the decision to make as to whether or not I wanted to help him. And, I talk about helping people a lot, and that's really what I believe I'm all about. I love to help people. That's what makes me feel good. And I didn't help this guy. And I'll tell you the reason why I didn't help this guy. I'll tell you first how we met each other. I was in a county jail where I didn't know anybody. It was one of those things where I was in a different area completely than where I'm from. And I had some issues with the administration right when I got there. I flipped out and cursed fucking staff out, and I wasn't used to being disrespected in that way that they had talked to me. And what they did in return was they decided that they were going to put me in a part of the jail, in a specific part of a unit where they thought I was going to get beat up and thought I was going to have problems. Okay, so the area they put me in a big unit. It was 148 people. And on the top tier, the third floor, in the corner, the whole area it was a gang area. And it was all nietas. They're a Spanish gang, mostly Puerto Rican guys. And this guy, my friend, his name is Carlos, but we call him Chucky. So my friend Chucky was actually the leader of the nietas in that area, or among whoever was in that jail with them. And so what the administration hoped would happen, didn't happen, obviously, and the opposite happened. Immediately, within 30 minutes of me going up to that unit and putting that area of the unit, and putting my stuff down and seeing who's who, I pulled him on the side, he and I spoke, and within an hour we were sitting down having lunch together. And from then on, we became very tight. We worked out all the time together. We hung out all the time, every meal. Not only him, but all the rest of his fellow nietas. These guys fucking opened up and looked out to me. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do a video about that, about how my interaction with this gang and some other gangs went down. But we became real tight to the point where, he was so loyal to me. And he offered himself to me. He offered himself up to me in the sense of him doing anything I fucking needed. If I needed to, this guy was there and he would kill for me. He would shed blood for me. One time there was some words somebody said about me in another unit that I never even seen the fucking guy. And this guy came to me and told me that he wanted to get him. And I told him it's not necessary. It's over bullshit. I don't even know this fucking guy. Fuck it. If I come across him, I come across him. But it's not like that. And when we met on the street, he was struggling, as I did when I was released. And he really didn't have anything to go to as far as an alternative to what his life has been so far. I was doing much better, than most. I'm doing better now than I was at that time, but I was still in a position where I could have helped him. I had multiple businesses. I wasn't doing great, but still, I had the ability, if I wanted to help him. But I understood that helping him meant that I'd have to not only give him a job and give him an opportunity to make some money, but I'd have to keep this guy around me all the time. Likely, I'd have to let him stay with me at my house with my family until he gets on his feet, because he's like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from me, so we're too far of a gap for it to work out otherwise. That's not the reason I didn't help him. I would have done those things. The reason I didn't help him is because he was very unstable emotionally. Very similar to me, which is probably why we got along so well. I didn't know if I can trust his behavior. With me, there was always the certainty. I had no doubt this guy was fucking loyal to the end, to death with me. And he listened to me out of respect. But when I'm not around him, I couldn't trust that he'd not fuck up. And I remember sitting down, eating with him somewhere where we met up that last time, and thinking to myself, man, as much as I want to take him, if I take this dude with me and open up and help him out, there's a very good chance this guy's going to kill somebody. He's it's hard for me to explain and talk to you guys about this stuff because we're in different worlds. You know what I mean? The world I came from is different, so it sounds real crazy, and some of you guys may judge people badly based on things I say about them or their ability to commit violence, but you got to understand, it's just a different world. And being able to shed blood doesn't necessarily equate to being a bad person, whether you believe it or not. And I'm guilty of that also, the bloodshed. He and I are very similar in many ways. What it came down to was the difference between someone who's calculated and someone who's impulsive. Chucky was just impulsive. I could be around people. Listen, you could be a hitman. You could be with multiple bodies. You could kill people anytime you fucking want. But if it's calculated, I don't have the concern and worry versus if it's impulsive. You know what I'm saying? So his impulsiveness put me in a position where I had to risk not only myself getting brought down and involved in whatever he might do, whatever crazy shit, but now my wife and my kids getting sucked down into this cycle as well as a result. And I remember thinking, I only know this man from jail. I don't know this man from the streets prior. We met in jail. And that in itself shouldn't discount how strong our relationship is, but that's the reality. I met him in jail. And on the other hand, I had a woman who waited for me years, who sacrificed for me, and who stood by me when they were telling her that I'll probably never ever come home. She refused to fucking give up on me and leave me. And now I have beautiful children with that same woman as well. I'm so indebted to her. And to other people also, few people who were loyal to me. And that's what it came down to. It came down to that. It made me selfish in a way, but I couldn't afford to risk him fucking up everything that I'd worked so hard to achieve. And it sounds bad, me saying this, even me hearing it. I hate that I did that because I feel guilty. And my wife tells me that it's ridiculous that I always feel guilt and responsibility for people when it's not my place to feel that way. He's a grown man, this guy. He's older than me. And the way I respond to her is, I understand why you're saying I'm not responsible. But you have to understand that when I'm given an opportunity where I actually can do something to help somebody, and then I don't do it, and then something bad happens to that person, I feel guilt. Whether it's, reasonable or not for me to feel that way, I fucking feel that way. And that's how I feel now about Chucky. I don't know what would have happened, but I can pretty much guarantee that if I took him with me, he would not be dead. So how do I not feel guilt about that? And now this is, like many other things in life, something I'm just going to have to deal with. I can't fucking put this shit out of my head, and I can't change what's happened. I can't change the fact that another fucking person that was real tight with me, that's solid, that I felt a unique kind of friendship with because we understood each other and could relate to each other in so many ways, another one of them is fucking gone from my life. And in this case now, this shit's gonna bother me. I know it. It's gonna eat me up because I could have did something. And I try to tell myself now that I made the right choice. I chose my family, my wife, myself over somebody else, but it doesn't do anything to take away my guilt. And I'm just gonna have to deal with it. So I don't know why I wanted to share this with you guys. I've been feeling lately like I don't want things to be one-sided where those of you that are watching me only see this one, crazy side of me. Because there's a lot of other sides also. This included, the kind of shit that I have to feel inside and deal with. And that I also fucking hurt and struggle with things and feel great loss. And this is a great loss to me. And to Chucky, I'm sorry, man, that I didn't help you. I'm sorry that I didn't help. So I hope you guys enjoyed this.